Now, let's talk about the fine print of all of this. And one of the things we need to discuss, it comes back up to this idea again of charging people. Evaluate what you can charge and why. We've discussed this in the module on memberships already, but I think it's great review. Or if you're just now looking at launching, it makes sense to evaluate that right here. In general, pro tip, you can charge people more if you show people something which generates a financial return and if they can write it off as a business expense. So, what we've said in other modules throughout the Amplify framework is that if you're selling to a business or an organization, or if you're showing people how to earn money, that's going to be a higher ticket item than if you're selling to an individual or if you're teaching people how to do a hobby or a how to or something that does not have a financial return. That does not mean that what you're teaching that would merit this price is not as valuable as some of the other content that you can sell at this price. I've given you the example in other modules how some of the resources I have that help people find and fulfill the purpose, the reason they're on this planet, the unique gifts and skills and abilities that they have. I think that that is more valuable intrinsically and eternally content than even what we teach in the Amplify framework. However, this material, it actually teaches people how to earn an income. We can sell it to businesses. It teaches them how to grow and how to scale their organization and make money in ways with the same content that they've had before that maybe they're not even thought about, by multiplying it, by monetizing it, by repurposing it. Because of that, we can actually sell this at a higher ticket level than we can for some of the things that help people find and fulfill their purpose. So be realistic and really think about what you can charge based on what you're selling and who you're selling to. Again, here's the stairs. Build the content that you have incrementally. Once you've created the information in one form, in a book, it's easy to start repurposing it into other forms. It's easy to kind of grow it up. It's easy to kind of build it down. And with the memberships and subscriptions, remember, we started putting all of this together and we said, all right, so the membership program, that's probably somewhere under courses, maybe. It's definitely above coaching because in a membership, coaching is provided, but the coaching is group coaching where people are getting access to you as the expert, as the coach, but they're not getting that access one-to-one. They're getting that access with the group at specific intervals, whereas people that are in a one-to-one coaching relationship, they're meeting with you sometimes once, maybe even twice a month. They have that daily access to you via text or Voxer or something of that nature. So this membership in the funnel, it could be higher, meaning more people, less cost, more access. It could be higher than courses or lower, depending on what the course achieves or depending on what the membership provides. You get to decide what that does and how that fits. However, it just makes sense that you really evaluate where they are in your funnel so you know if they want to go deeper what the next step would be from that membership program. Here's a checklist that I want to provide with you because I really think that if you use a checklist, if you build the launch right the first time, then you can keep refining it. You can use your template. You're going to build it. You're going to get better at it. So here's the full checklist. Let me walk you through exactly what all these things are because here's what you're going to need to launch. Number one, you're going to need a web page. You're going to need a page somewhere on your website that is a sales page that tells people the problem that they have, which they probably already know about, and the solution that you're going to provide. Here's the problem. We're going to solve it. We're going to step into the potential. So we're going to need a sales page that outlines all of this. There is training in the coaching modules that will help you build that sales page. In addition, you're going to need the membership program if it's a membership. Like when people register, they purchase this thing, you need to be able to direct them somewhere. If you're just now starting this off, I would do what we did the first time I built a membership program. We went ahead and had a pre-recorded course, pre-recorded coaching, and we had that in there really as bonus content. We provided, the first launch a very low price. Hey, we'll lock you in at this price. Part of that is because, hey, we know that we're still working out all of the bugs on this thing. We're trying to figure this out. Also, we know somebody that joins a year from now is going to have 12 months of content and you're coming in early. And so we appreciate you taking a risk on us. Now, however you do it, you've got to have built out whatever it is that people are purchasing when you launch. You also need all the pre-launch content. So all of the things that you're going to use to identify leading up to the launch, the related content that's going to run for 2 to 4 weeks up during that period, whereby you're going to tag people with your email server who click on the links to see the content, not just people who open the email, the people who actually click on the link and take action. You need all of that content identified. You need all of that content created before you launch. You also need all the pre-launch emails. So not just the content identified on your website, but what are the emails that I'm going to send that are going to direct people to the website or to the blog post or to the podcast. And I've got to write those emails, and then I've got to set those tags so they actually work. I also need to create a launch sequence. So that is the sales sequence that goes into effect. And ideally, you're going to email people in the morning, in the afternoon, and several of the evenings. Most days, 5 to 7 days, you're going to email people at least twice, probably 3 times the day you open the cart, 3 times the day before you close, 3 times the day that you do close. All of that's going to be way easier if you set it up in advance. Remember, this is only going to be sent to people who clicked and took action on the pre-launch emails. Then you need the launch content. So what are you going to share on social media? What are you going to say when you go live on video? What is some of the content that you're going to use if you're going to have certain videos on a sales page when people arrive there? What are you going to do if you have certain videos and maybe this web page, it changes? So one day there's a certain video here. The next day, part of the launch sequence sends them to a different video on that page. The next day, perhaps there's a different video on that page. You've got to identify what is all of the launch content, and you don't want to be creating this at the time of the launch. Again, I encourage you, take your time and build it well, because once we build this, we're going to tweak it a little bit, but we're going to run the same play 3 to 4 times a year publicly, and we're going to run the same play 3 to 4 times a year to that private wait list. So once you build it once, you think, well, goodness, this is a lot of work. Yeah, but we're going to use it over the next year. We're going to use it 6 to 8 times, literally every other month at least. This content, the same content with few adjustments, is going to go into play. So you need the launch content. You also need the follow-up sequence for your buyers, that list that purchases. Hey, we got your purchase. Thank you for joining. Here's what you purchased. Here's what you bought. And remember, go ahead and include some confirmation as well as some future offers that those people are going to trip upon, sometimes 30, maybe even 45 days later. That can all be built into the sequence and automated. The 8th thing that you need is you need a wait list follow-up. So people who did not purchase, you need to invite them, the non-buyers, to the wait list. Now that can become part of this launch sequence. So people that purchase, they then go into the follow-up sequence for buyers. People who don't purchase are automatically invited to the wait list as part of that sequence because buyers are being removed from it. But when they do register for that wait list, there just needs to be a one email type of thing that says, okay, sequence, remember those are automated by Tripwire like an opt-in. Hey, I got you. You're on the wait list. I'll let you know. I'm going to communicate with you maybe once, twice a month, just to let you know how the thing's going. But I promise the next time I launch, I will let you know first, which you're going to do because you've already scheduled somewhere in your content calendar when this private launch is going to take place. The final thing you need, number 9, is you need to identify any bonuses, bumps, and upsells when people go to the checkout from the launch sequence and they become a buyer. You need to go ahead and identify anything that you're going to offer as a bump. That is, remember, a low ticket offer that is presented to them before they check out. An upsell is generally a little bit higher ticket offer presented to them after they check out on the confirmation page. Now, that training, again, we talked about that extensively when we discussed websites and when we discussed the module on launching a book. And there's more content on that in the coaching modules. So that really is the launch checklist. Here's what I would say to you about the launch. The first one, it will be hard. It will not be easy. It will be, you might even just kind of extend that and say it's going to be really difficult, but it will get easier. Every single time that you do it, your skills are going to increase. You're going to get a better flow of it, particularly if you're launching multiple products, and especially if you're taking advantage of doing the private launches. Remember, that is some of the hottest leads that you have. They're a little bit more forgiving, and it's more practice with an ultra responsive list to you. So it's going to get easier. You're going to get better at it. Your results will continue to improve the more you do it. So at some point, you just kind of got to bite the bullet and say, hey, this first one is going to be difficult. I'm not sure what to expect, but I do know that it will get easier. And I do know also that I'll get better with time. the more that I do this. Also, let's look at the financial possibilities, specifically of running the membership program. Here's the financial possibilities that we've outlined at different levels. We've said the books, $6 profit per book. If you're self-publishing a book is really a great amount. You sell 1,600 of those approximately, you can earn about $10,000. Courses, if you're selling and making profit per course at $200, you can earn the same $10,000 by selling 50 courses. Of course, you can change any of these numbers in any direction that you want to. This just gives you an idea. These aren't necessarily suggested prices. This is just a comparison for you. If you sell coaching, and perhaps you're selling that one-to-one coaching and people are paying you $2,000, whether that's $2,000 a month or $2,000 over a certain duration. If you sell 5 people that coaching ticket, then there's $10,000, the same as 1,600 books. But again, remember, the books are at the top of the funnel, so lots of people, very little cost, but not much access to you at all. The course, a little bit more, a little bit deeper in the funnel, less people, a little bit more money, but again, access limited to you. As they get into coaching, we go deeper, more cost, more access, far less people. But look at this membership. And it really depends on what you're charging as to where it goes in the funnel. If you're selling that for $100 a month, you have 100 people enrolled, that's $10,000 a month. You can change, again, the cost up or down based on whether you're selling to an individual or an organization, whether you're early with founders or you're moving on and this is a seasoned program, whether you're selling something that is a hobby or if it's something that's just a skill or if it's something that actually helps people generate an income, that price actually could increase. Let's look at it this way. If you wanted to make $100,000 this year with one-time purchases, so this would be books or courses, if you sold $200 product and you sold 500 of those, over the course of a year, you would make $100,000 off that product or multiple products, just kind of added together. You can do the numbers, $500, you just need 200 buyers. If it's a $1,000 product, you just need 100 buyers. You keep on chasing this down. A $2,000 product, you need 50 buyers. If it's a $4,000 product, you need 25. You say, well, that's really, high ticket item that gets there. But look what happens when you insert recurring revenue into this. If we want to make $100,000 a year with recurring purchases, if we have 500 people that give us $17 a month, that reaches the same $100,000 as the $4,000 ticket item. If we just go through some of the numbers, $83 a month, if we have 100 people that pay that, that gets us almost to the same $100,000. You look at the bottom, $333 a month. Oh, if we have 25 people at that level, that takes us to the same $100,000 that year. Again, this is the power of the recurring model. And so as you start thinking about launches, you've got a lot to really consider. It is a lot of hard work. You will get better at it. You can do it. That is the module on launches.